All right, let's dive into Act 4 of Macbeth. And trust me, this is the big one. It's the absolute point of no return. This is the act where our tragic hero, Macbeth, pretty much sheds every last shred of his humanity. He cements his downfall, becoming a full-blown tyrant, and in doing so, he actually creates the very hero who is destined to destroy him.
So here's our roadmap. We're going to start with Macbeth's desperate return to the witches. Then we'll follow the truly horrific consequences of their new prophecies. And finally, we'll jump over to England, where a powerful alliance is forged in grief, and a hero is literally born from tragedy.
Okay, so Act 4 kicks off, and we're looking at a Macbeth we have never seen before. He's not just ambitious anymore. Oh no, he is completely consumed by paranoia. He goes straight back to the source of all his problems, the witches. But this time is different. He isn't asking about his future, he's demanding to know it.
You can just hear the sheer arrogance in his voice here, can't you? I conjure you, answer me. These are not polite requests, they are commands. Macbeth genuinely believes he's become so powerful that he can boss around supernatural beings. He thinks he's seizing control, but what he's really doing is walking right into their trap.
So, in response to his demands, what do the witches do? They summon 3 ghostly apparitions, and each one gives Macbeth a prophecy that seems to make him totally invincible. But you know, this is the witches we're talking about. So every single promise is built on a foundation of dangerous, deceptive double meanings. You can almost feel the psychological trap snapping shut right here. The first apparition, the armed head, confirms his biggest fear: beware Macduff. Okay, that makes sense to him. But then, the next 2 apparitions seem to completely cancel out that threat. None of woman born shall harm Macbeth, a forest that gets up and moves. He hears only what he wants to hear and becomes absolutely convinced that he is untouchable.
And that false confidence, that feeling of being invincible, leads directly to this absolutely chilling new personal motto. From this moment on, the instant a violent thought pops into his head, he's going to act on it. No hesitation, no second thoughts, no conscience. The filter is gone. His descent into pure impulsive evil is now complete.
So what's the first thing he does with this new act now, think later policy? Well, it's a plan of just unimaginable cruelty. He hears that Macduff has fled to England, and his very first impulse is to have his rival's entire innocent family slaughtered. And this single act sets up one of the most powerful and heartbreaking contrasts in the entire play. I mean, talk about a gut punch. Look at this contrast. On one side, you have Lady Macbeth, who earlier said she would have violently murdered her own baby to get what she wanted. And on the other, we see this tender, funny, loving conversation between Lady Macduff and her son, literally moments before they are killed. It's Shakespeare's way of screaming at us just how much humanity the Macbeths have completely sacrificed.
And here, Shakespeare makes a really bold choice. He doesn't just have a messenger report this murder. He puts it right there, on stage. We are forced to watch this horrible act, this pointless evil. It's like he's making us witnesses to the crime. For Macbeth, this is it. This is the moral point of no return. It's a public announcement that the noble warrior is dead and gone, replaced by a monster.
In her final tragic moments, Lady Macduff says this, and it just perfectly sums up what Scotland has become under Macbeth's rule. Her words are a haunting echo of the witch's philosophy: fair is foul, and foul is fair. It shows us that Macbeth's evil hasn't just corrupted him, it has turned the entire moral world of Scotland completely upside down.
Okay, so while all this horror is unfolding in Scotland, the scene shifts. We're now in England. Macduff has arrived, and he's trying to convince Malcolm, King Duncan's son and the rightful heir, to raise an army and take back their country. But Malcolm is not like his father. He's not so trusting. He's suspicious, and for good reason.
Now, as the scene begins, Shakespeare puts us, the audience, in a really painful position. He uses a technique called dramatic irony. It means we know something the characters don't. We know that Macduff's family has just been brutally murdered, but he has no idea. So every second that he's on stage talking, we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. The tension is almost unbearable.
So Malcolm needs to figure out if Macduff is a true patriot or just another guy trying to grab power. So he lays a trap. It's a brilliant test, really. He pretends that he would be an even worse king than Macbeth. He claims to be lustful, greedy, and to have none of the virtues a king should have. The question is Macduff just looking for anyone to replace Macbeth, or is his loyalty to Scotland itself?
And this is the moment. This is the answer. Faced with the horrible idea that Scotland's only hope is just another tyrant, Macduff breaks down. But he doesn't cry for himself or his lost position. He cries for his nation. Oh, Scotland, Scotland. This selfless, patriotic grief is all the proof Malcolm needs. Macduff has passed the test.
But just as this new, hopeful alliance is being forged, Ross arrives from Scotland. And he is carrying the news. The devastating news that's going to transform Macduff from a loyal patriot into a full-blown avenging hero.
Macduff's response is it's just so raw and human. This beautiful, heartbreaking image of his family as pretty chickens slaughtered by a predator. It shows a capacity for love, for sorrow that Macbeth is no longer capable of feeling. In this moment, all our sympathy shifts from the tragic hero to his victims.
And then, listen to what Malcolm does next. It's brilliant. He doesn't tell Macduff to man up or hide his pain. He tells him to use it. Blunt not the heart, enrage it. In other words, don't numb this pain. Turn it into fuel. Turn it into a weapon. This is the exact moment a personal tragedy gets forged into a righteous cause for justice.
So let's step back. By the end of Act 4, Shakespeare has masterfully built the central conflict for the rest of the play. He has set two forces on a collision course, the unfeeling, paranoid tyrant and the grieving, avenging hero.
Now, to really get what's going on here, we can use the literary term called a foil. A foil is basically a character who acts like a mirror. They contrast with the main character in a way that makes the main character's qualities stand out even more. And by the end of this act, it's crystal clear. Macduff has become the perfect foil to Macbeth. Let's just break it down. Look at family. Macbeth sees children only as threats to his throne. Macduff is a loving father. How about loyalty? Macbeth betrays everyone for his own ambition. Macduff puts Scotland first, always. And emotion? Macbeth has become numb and cold, while Macduff feels his grief deeply. Every single one of Macduff's virtues just shines a brighter light on how corrupt and empty Macbeth has become.
And all of this brings us to the ultimate question that Act 4 just forces us to confront. After seeing Macbeth actively seek out the witches again, after watching him twist their words to fit his own desires, and after he decides to act on his own violent impulses, who is really responsible here? Is it the supernatural forces that dangled the bait, or is it the man who chose again and again to take it? That's something to think about.